Good morning, everybody. Edward Kelley here with 188 Debt Line, answering your bankruptcy questions. And this week we're going to do a series, the top 5 questions that I get from you as a bankruptcy attorney. Number 5, can I get rid of all of my debt? And related question, can I keep any debts that I like? Okay, let's do part 1. Can you get rid of all your debts? No. I'll give you the bad news first. That's always a good policy. Get that out of the way. Student loans, can't do anything with it. Although you can generally use that if you have a payment set up as an expense that will bring your income down. And if you're on the line, you might make too much money to do a 7. A student loan payment can help you. And one of the great things about a bankruptcy, can get rid of everything else so you can concentrate on the debts you can't get rid of. As of now, student loans are not forgiven or dischargeable. Um, Although, blood from a turnip. If you don't have any assets to attach or any way to collect, there's not a lot they can do, but not dischargeable. Child support, same thing for obvious reasons. Um, Taxes. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but if your taxes are 3 years old, they can be discharged. Now, bear in mind that's 3 years from when they're filed. So if it's 2019 and you're just now filing a 2012 tax return, that doesn't mean it's automatically 3 years old. The 3 years will start from when you file it. But if they're 3 years back, that can all be discharged. And if you have mixed debt, if you have tax debt that's 3 years old, and then some that isn't, you can get rid of all the debt that is 3 years old. So that's a big bonus in a bankruptcy. And in another video, I'll talk about a Chapter 13, how you can take care of student loans and tax debt altogether through a Chapter 13 plan. Other than that, generally, yes. Criminal penalties, generally not, although related civil costs are in some cases dischargeable. That's one you'll have to call me on, case-by-case situation. Other than that, debts are good to go. The basic rule is if it's a secured debt, if there's collateral on it, if you want to get rid of that debt, you give up the collateral. Now, in a related video, I'll tell you about cramming down, and that's how you can take a vehicle if you bought it a certain amount of time ago, for example, and you can simply pay off the value of the vehicle and the remaining balance that you may owe. And by that I mean the blue book value, not what the creditor says the value is. And the remaining balance becomes an unsecured debt, which is dischargeable, and you can lower an interest rate. So, different video, we'll talk about that, but just to whet your appetite. But generally, if a debt is properly secured by property and you want to get rid of that debt, you need to give up the property. And unsecured debts are gone. Now, bear in mind, if you have any assets, those have to be liquidated. And I'll tell you in another video, it's actually number 1, about what are assets that can be liquidated and what is exempt and totally protected. So I'll just, again, whet your appetite. Your car, up to $7,500 in value per person, and your home. In Oklahoma, we've got great exemption laws, generally protected. IRAs, proper retirement accounts, those are good. The rest of the unsecured debts, beyond whatever assets are liquidated and paid out to them, totally discharged. Okay, so part 2 of that question. So, can I keep a credit card here and there? Can I keep a doctor's bill that I like? And the answer on that is no. Give you the bad news again. There's something called a preference. You're not allowed to pick one creditor over the other. So, and though a medical provider can't do anything about you discharging an unsecured debt, they can, in fact, stop providing services if they're a business. A little bit different with state providers and emergency situations, but that's a consideration to take into account when you do a bankruptcy. And no, you can't keep a credit card. What you can do is if you have one with a zero balance, that's not a debt, so that would be okay. Although you can't pay, there's something called a look back period where if you pay too much to one creditor, then that's a no-no. So, hope that's the long and short of it. So, the answer is, with some exceptions, yes, you can get rid of all your debt. Um, and yes, you have to get rid of it all. A lot of my clients are grudgingly glad that they are forced to get rid of all their debts. They feel maybe more guilty about some. When it's a predatory lender, usually doesn't feel too bad. And usually they've gotten whatever they lent you in the first place, and now you're just paying fees and interest. But some debts may have some sentimental value, or maybe a friend, relative, but got to get rid of them all. And if you're trying to make a fresh start, that's what you want to do anyway. So that's number 5 of the top 5 questions that I get as a bankruptcy attorney. See you soon.